it's Naya. Welcome back to Naya Reads and Smiles. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I have my February book haul, and I know you're probably like, Naya, January book haul? Did you just forget about January? But yeah, no, I did not have a January book haul. I was trying to do a little bit of a book buying ban, but it didn't really work out, so we just have extra books for February. So it's February and I have just a few books here. This is actually a smaller book haul than I anticipated, which is awesome because I'm trying to cut down. I say that now. Do you know what? We're here, it's 2020, and there's so many good books that I really want to read, so here are just some of them. Okay, so today's video is so kindly sponsored by my friends over at Inkyard Press for the release of a brand new book that just came out on January 28th. Don't Read the Comments by Eric Smith. Now, I'm very excited about this book because it has to do with the online world. So in this book, we are following our main character here named Divya, and she's a very popular online gamer, so she streams live while she's playing this game called Reclaim the Sun, and has accumulated quite a fan base doing this, to the point where she can actually make money doing sponsorships, which is wonderful for her because she comes from a single parent household. Her mother is struggling to pay the bills, so having that extra little bit of income helps her a lot. We're also following our main character named Aaron, and he also plays Reclaim the Sun. I don't think he's a streamer like Divya. Actually, on his free time, he writes games for different game developers, and that's kind of just where his passion's at. Unfortunately, his parents don't see the same vision of his future that he does, and so they want him to become a doctor, which is so far from game development, and so that's something that he struggles with in his life. Divya, being a very popular gamer, is also having to deal with trolls and haters, which is something that anyone online and on social media kind of is familiar with. So while playing Reclaim the Sun, Divya and Aaron actually meet in the game and start to form like a relationship virtually, which is wonderful for them because, like I said, they're both dealing with their own personal problems. Divya especially has started to get a lot of haters, which have taken to actually harassing her in real life, which is really scary. They're able to kind of form a bond and help each other and just, yeah, meet in the video game. Sounds amazing, and like I said, being someone who is very much in the online community, I think this is just so, like, such a perfect contemporary book. Yeah, if you want to check out the book, I will include links down in the description so you can check it out. It is out already. Okay, this next book I have here is Riot Baby by Tochi Onyebuchi, and thank you so much to Tor for sending this to me. This is a book that I have been highly anticipating. It just came out on January 21st. I'm excited about this one because it is a young adult book and it discusses structural racism and brutality here in America, but there's also said to be magic in it, or some sort of magical element. It is very short. The size of the book is actually reminding me of Shauna McGuire's books. All of her books with Tor are very short, so I think it's only around 175 pages. Riot Baby. So from what I'm getting from the synopsis, we're following a brother and a sister named Ella and Kev, and they both have magical abilities. I believe the sister Ella, she has abilities along the telekinetic spectrum, so she can move things with her mind, she can travel between places, she can make things explode, possibly. I'm not sure like the full depth of her power. So the brother in this book, Kev, ends up being incarcerated simply for being a young black man in America. He is completely discriminated against. Because Ella has the ability to not time travel, but to travel between places and to make herself invisible, she's still able to visit Kev while he's in jail, and you know, during those visits they plan a revolution, they plan to get justice. Yeah, so I'm very excited about this book, and more than anything, I'm excited to see how their sort of supernatural abilities play into the plot of the story. I've read Tochi's fantasy series called Beast Made of Night, and I know he's just a fantastic fantasy writer, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how he melds what kind of seems like two different genres, which is a more contemporary genre, with this supernatural. I'm super excited to get to this one, and also to read War Girls, which is Tochi's other book, but I believe that one came out last year. Next, of course, a book haul would not be a book haul without Book Outlet books. If you guys don't know, I'm a vlogger friend with Book Outlet. They're one of my favorite websites. You can get discount books, and yeah, you can get discount books, which is what we all need because full price books are expensive. All the books that I will be unboxing today, which I'm so excited about because some of these I have been waiting on. All of these books here will be on their website. There'll be a link down below, so if you want to check out the vlogger page, it'll have more details about all of these books. I also did receive a gift card to get these, so thank you so much to Book Outlet. They spoil me and I love them. Okay, where do I even start? Okay, let's start with this one because it is calling to me. The first book I picked up is The Island of Sea Women by Lisa C. Now this has been a book that I've had my eye on for a little while, and I am just so interested. I'm really into historical fiction right now. It's been a genre that I have dabbled in a little bit, but I definitely feel like I'm going to be reading more historical fiction this year. It is my goal. This book specifically sounded so interesting because it talks about a part of history that really isn't well known. In this book we're following two women, Mi-jung and Young-suk, I believe their names are, and they're best friends. They grow up together. This book specifically spans several decades, starting from the 1930s all the way through the 1950s. It's set on the Korean island of Jeju, which is a very, I think now it's a pretty touristy spot for people who are interested in diving. We're following these two best friends who are growing up in this diving town that really is matrifocal, and it focuses on girls, especially at a very young age, developing the skill and learning how to dive, and they've kind of become the heads of the household. So yeah, it says here, over many decades through the Japanese colonialism of the 1930s and 40s, World War II, the Korean War, Nisha specifically, she is the daughter of a Japanese cooperator, so that is something that she has to deal with while growing up, people not really liking her because of that. It says here that Young-suk was born into a long line of Hanyo and will inherit her mother's position leading the divers, so she's gonna become sort of the head diver of the village. This book here spans their entire friendship as they grow up, as they fall in love. More than anything though, I'm excited about the cultural aspects of this book. I believe Lisa C did a lot of research, actually visited Jeju and interviewed some of these women that were divers during this time period. Yeah, so I'm very much into historical fiction right now, so I'm so excited about this one. Okay, the next book I have here is Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. Now, I don't know if this is a little bit of a bias, but I only picked up this book because Victoria Schwab blurbed it, and Victoria Schwab is one of my favorite authors of all time. She wrote Vicious, as well as Vengeful, and a bunch of other really awesome books. So yeah, I trust her opinion. I love her writing style. I love the books that she reads. In this book, we're following our main character named Ivy, and she is a private investigator. Ivy was born normal, human, but her sister was born with magical abilities, and because of that, she's always had a not so great relationship for her. I imagine there was jealousy or just sort of that, hey, how come my sister has powers and I don't? But anyway, so yeah, Ivy becomes a private investigator and her sister ends up becoming a professor at a university for mages, so people with magic. A very gruesome murder actually happens at the school that her sister goes to, this magic school, and Ivy is brought in as a private investigator to figure out what's going on. I'm super excited about this book, especially because we get to follow the sister that doesn't have magical abilities. Usually it's like we're following the character that's the chosen one. We get to follow someone without magical abilities in a magical world, and this is sort of a criminal thriller investigation book as well. And then number 3 is Victoria Schwab blurbed it. I am totally sold and super excited to read this one. Also, the cover is so cool. It kind of looks like it's gonna be a bit comedic, which I don't know, that's just like the vibe I'm getting from the cover, which you're not supposed to judge books by covers, but hey, this is an awesome cover, okay? Okay, this next book I have here, I am so embarrassed to say that I am only now getting my hands on this. Christine, I am so sorry it took me so long to get your book. The next book I have here is Again But Better by Christine Riccio, fellow booktuber, booktube mother, the mother of booktube. Was she the first? She was one of the first, at least for me, the first booktubers I ever found. But Christine, I got your book, girl! She recently, well, it's not so recently anymore, but she recently released her own book, which I'm so excited to read because she has a YouTube series, so starting I think in like 2016 or 2017, she began writing this book and documented her journey becoming an author. It just makes me even more excited to actually physically have her book in my hands now because yeah, it's been a journey, and I feel like, I mean, I don't know Christine personally, we've done like events together and stuff, but yeah, I'm super excited for her. Her book follows our main character named Shane. Shane is in college and she's pretty introverted, so she hasn't really gone out and made friends or done any of these stereotypical college things. She decides that she is going to study abroad in London, and she kind of sees this trip, this study abroad trip, as being a new start for her, so she plans on becoming more social, you know, meeting people and just, yeah, changing her life, I guess you could say. While in London, things don't turn out as planned. She does end up meeting someone, so this is kind of a contemporary romance coming of age. That I'm a little bit biased because Christine is a booktuber and I've been following her journey, and I'm just like so excited for her as a person to have this achievement of publishing a book. But yeah, it sounds like a wonderful contemporary book, and I am definitely doing a reading vlog for this one. The very last book I picked up is The Girl from Everywhere by Heidi Heilig. Now, I have been struggling to get this book. Every time they put this book on the Book Outlet website, it sells out immediately, and if you remember, about 4 months ago, I purchased The Ship Beyond Time. Now, I bought this book thinking it was the first book in this series. So I've had the second book in this series for a good few months now, and I was just waiting for them to restock the first book so I could read it and just, yeah, read them back to back. So in this book, we're following our main character who is growing up on this ship with her father, who is the captain, and they time travel between different places. I'm not sure if the ship itself allows them to time travel or if it's an ability that our main character and her father have. The way the time travel works is not only can they time travel between different time periods, but they can also travel to different worlds, like different magical worlds. I believe here it says that they travel to the mythic land from 1001 Nights. As long as her father has a map of the place they're trying to go, and the map has to be from that specific time period too. I think that's one of like the stipulations of their abilities. Can travel there. So they have been just about everywhere, every time period. Main sort of conflict of the story, it says here that her father is obsessed with obtaining a map from Honolulu, which is where I'm from, hey. But yeah, it says a map from Honolulu that can take him back to his lost love, Nyx's mother. Even though going there could erase Nyx's very existence, for the first time Nyx is entering unknown waters. She could find herself, find her family, find her own fantastical ability, her own epic love, or she could disappear. Yeah, so I'm not sure if our main character is half Hawaiian or not. That'd be really awesome because I'm looking for that representation. So I am very excited about this book. I also, like I said, have the second book, so I'm definitely going to read them back to back. Those are all the books that I have hauled for February. I am definitely like controlling myself this year when it comes to book hauls. Hopefully. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, keep reading, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!